What's up, y'all? Tonight we welcome Shawn Ward, radio personality, Hot 92.3, Iheart Radio ATL, otherwise known as the Shy Fella. For Chicago, that is. We're going to get this brother in the room. I see that he has already joined us. Let me get this brother up in here. So good to see my girl, Akila, author. Shawn Ward.
Yo,
What it do, man?
what's up, brother? What's going on, man?
Oh, man, dude, I'm straight chilling, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm maintaining, brother. I'm maintaining. Been a crazy week, but I'm maintaining.
Yeah, bro. Uh, hey, man, look, man, thank you for joining us tonight.
Oh,
Uh,
man,
for,
no doubt.
for those that are in the room, we are joined by who I think is the funniest man in Atlanta, uh, uh, community activist,
Yeah,
nonprofit founder, basketball coach, and
yeah.
just so many different things, man. Tell us first, bro. Who is Shawn Ward?
Shawn Ward is just a kid from Chicago who made his way to Atlanta about 20 years ago and went to a proud alum of Morris Brown College,
Yes, sir.
HBCU. Just a multi-talented guy. God bless me with talents, man, and I try to utilize them every day. I try to use what God gave me.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Take us back to Chicago, bro.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like growing up in Chicago?
I grew up in the real rough era of Chicago, man. 80s, 90s. The real crack epidemic,
Yeah.
the real gang activity. Hell, I didn't wear the color. I didn't wear red until I was grown.
Right.
So I grew up in Chicago where I grew up in a cultural explosion. Chicago was just really so diverse, but so plagued with crime and gang activity during that time was heavy. Territorials, just all kind of things, man. But it made me the man I am, and people are seeing Chicago now in the news like it's crazy, but I'm like, it was literally crazier growing up.
Mm-hmm.
We just have social media now, so you get to see these crimes or see these things play out. This has been going on forever, So, but that's Chicago, brother. I love my city, man. Beautiful skyline, great food. If you ever go to Chicago, man, one of the best places in the world you can find a great meal. In the hood, outside the hood, I love it, man.
Hey, man. First of all, man, Chicago, man. The second city, I believe they call it, man, is known for so many things. Music, obviously being one of them, man. I mean, going back, Lou Rawls, Shaka Khan, the band Chicago used to be Chicago Transit Authority,
Yeah,
Common,
the shower.
Kanye,
Uh,
house music. You know what I'm saying? I
yeah.
mean, dude, what was it? Okay, first of all, I just have so much to ask you, dude. Tell us about what house music in Chicago, what does house music mean to native Chicagoans?
Woo, man. Let me see. Okay. Um, Chicago house music. I'm gonna give you a secret. People don't know that there's two versions of house music in Chicago. There's club house music and there's ghetto house music. So I'm gonna shout out. I see Lala in the building. She represents Detroit, Michigan. Detroit, Chicago house music is very similar. You got DJ Dion from Detroit. You got DJ Sluggo from Chicago. You got that's ghetto house music, where you get the bang, 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 skeet, 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 bang, bang. I beat that bitch with a bat. Like, these are songs that I grew up in the hood. That was hood house music. And you go to the club, then you got the I house you. Then you got the deep house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so the house music, so people, when I came to Atlanta, people like, oh man, we don't play that house music. Like, everybody like the percolator. No, we got so much music. You know, follow me, Ayo. Follow me.
Follow
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
And it was a message behind house music, but you got deep house music, and you got it was a separation, and so you had to live it to understand it.
Yeah.
And but both house music really jump on it. Oh yeah, hell yeah. Jump, man, listen. It's so much house music, man, that we listen to that we used to just ride around. Everybody, if you had a box Chevy, a bubble Caprice, 212s in the trunk, doom 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 doom. You hear somebody beat down the street, you know what time it is, man. That's what we grew up on. That's house music. And the difference between the DMV, Baltimore house music ain't the same. Chicago and Detroit house music is neck and neck. But it's ghetto house music. So there's a difference. So when you say house music, you got to know the difference between the two. There's a huge difference.
Okay. Chicago has such a rich tradition of so many things, of the social fabric. I had a guest on this year, earlier this year, a gynecologist here in town who's from the south side of Chicago. And she talked about when she was growing up, she's a little older than us, but she was talking about how rich Chicago was with Black culture, man, with being progressive and social movements and all of those things. Did you experience a lot of that growing up as well?
I experienced the accessibility of historic Black Chicago. I grew up in the Harold Washington era. I was a little kid. Harold Washington, one of the best mayors ever in Chicago, that was for his people. That to this day, they felt like he was murdered because he died from natural causes. South Side in the building. So I grew up on the south side of Chicago. I grew up near Washington Park. I grew up going to DeSable Museum. DeSable was one of the founders of Chicago with the Native Americans. It was no white colonizers that found Chicago. It was Native Americans that found Chicago, but they were already here in Illinois, and that's where my Native American background comes from. My family and a lot of people in the Midwest, especially in Chicago, that's where they resided a lot. I also grew up where you had museums that displayed Black culture. Chicago is big on Black artistic displays. So you may go to a museum where you have Black arts displayed.
Yeah.
You had cultural centers. The Harold Washington Library was big on displaying Black culture. I got a chance to meet, when we talk about Black Panthers, Black Panthers residing in Chicago.
Yeah.
Fred Hampton, his wife. It's so much, man. I was able to be blessed to meet these people that shared so much knowledge. You found out how he really died. You find out this conspiracy, it's not conspiracy, you find out the facts. And Chicago was the Mecca to the Nation of Islam. One of the first mosques, in Chicago, was founded, of course, by Malcolm X, and then the Honorable Louis Farrakhan took over. That was a stepping stone into Black religious culture, and so you had the mosque at one location down the street, and around the corner you had the Regal Theater. The Regal Theater was like black excellence. That was Black Broadway, you know, right in the hood, you
Right.
know.
Right.
And so it was a cultural shock, and that's what I grew up in. The opportunity wherever I grew up, black as fuck. Like,
Yeah.
you know, Atlanta, the South has black people, right? But the culture is not the same. We thrived on black culture, and that's Chicago. I grew in. I can talk about this for hours, but I know you got more to get to. But anything about Chicago, the crib, you can ask me.
Who were your biggest influences in childhood, Shawn?
One of my biggest influencers, Chicago wise, or just period.
No, I mean in your life.
Oh, in my
Like
life, one of the
looking back
biggest.
in your life.
My grandfather, who was a simple man with an 8th grade education, who worked with his hands his whole life. Now, mind you, he wasn't my blood grandfather. My blood grandfather was a World War II vet, but he died when I was young. So my grandmother remarried, and that grandfather is who I know, who taught me how to use my hands, who taught me how to do what now is considered toxic masculinity. That's another
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
But that was one of my biggest influences. My two uncles, who were like my fathers, and one more. I had to give you one more. I would say, growing up, Louis Farrakhan.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, Shawn. I mean, because you
Mm-hmm.
know, one of the things, man, I think that we can all agree on, man, we're missing the strong male influence in our
Yeah.
communities,
Yeah.
without a doubt. I don't care if people, you know, have a quote unquote progressive mindset or
Mm-hmm.
whether they have a conservative mindset.
Mm-hmm.
It's there to see.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you obviously had the influence of a village, which made you into the man that you are.
Mm-hmm.
Have you have you? Well, I assume that has informed who you became, because you give back a lot to the community,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Which we're going to get into.
Mm-hmm.
What made you come down to Atlanta to go to college?
That's a great question. I grew up in an era where Different World inspired me to go to college. If it
Yeah,
wasn't for Different World, I wouldn't give a fuck about going to college. I would have stayed in Chicago. I would have went to Chicago State, something simple, and would have just, lived my life that way.
yeah,
The black college experience was drilled in my head as a child.
mm-hmm,
And my cousin, my first cousin, Stacy, she went to Clark during the era where Atlanta was peaking. She worked at LaFace Records. And man, listen, the stories, she came home, Freaknik, the beginning of Freaknik, that's the era she went to, Clark. She went to Clark, Atlanta. Shout out to
yeah,
CAU. And she worked at Still LaFace Records. She watched and helped pivot Big Boy Outkast's career. I remember when she brought home Monica's album. We was like, who the fuck is Monica? 14, 15 years old, bro.
right,
She had
right.
a voice. She was like my generation's Whitney Houston.
Had a grown woman voice at that
And
age.
grown woman attitude. And I was looking like, yo. And we didn't know who she was. Next thing you know, boom. Just one of them days. Was
When
on
I
the
wanna
radio.
be all alone. Yeah.
Listen. Came back the next year, right? Came back with Erykah Badu. I was like, I want a rim shot. Hey,
Hey, diggy,
a
diggy.
rim
Yeah.
shot. Hey.
Hey,
I was
come
like,
on.
on and on. I was like, I listened to the words. I was like, damn. Next thing you know, the video On and On is on BET. You
For
like,
sure.
damn. Career just, boom.
Yeah, yeah.
So I watched, and I was like, bruh, I said, when it's time for me to go to college, I'm going to Atlanta. She came home with Outkast. They were on her face. They released Jazzy Belle, that single. Listen, man, Elevators. It was the music, bro.
Yeah.
I was like, Atlanta, this shit is. I saw the transition, and it was an inspiration, man. She talked about the AUC and this, blah blah blah, and I was like, I wanted to go to Clark. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I researched. My story changed because I got kicked out of. I had to plug in music. I got kicked out of regular high school.
What you do?
Man, listen, statute of limitation is still around, but I would say I lived. Chicago determines you by two different ways: by the streets or by the books. And what I was a part of believed in getting your education first and your hustle second. And so I wanted to be that guy. I wanted to be cool. I was an athlete. I played baseball. I didn't want to play basketball, but I love basketball. But baseball, my thing, I was being heavily recruited. So I had honors classes. So I was done before anybody was done. So I was as old folks say, I was smelling myself.
For sure.
I was working a full-time job after school. I was hustling. I was making money. So I was just in class, BSing around, having fun, enjoying life. And I became a menace. I became a menace to my peers. And I never forget, that's how my father came into my life. God transcended my father into my life. For 17 years, I didn't have my father in my life until I for 16 years, when I turned 17, God bless his soul. You know, my father just passed a few days ago. That's how he entered my life. And when he entered my life, my mom had done pretty much all she can do to raise a man. And it was just timing how he positioned himself in my life by coincidence. So long story short, man, I had to make a decision. I had the grades. They were like, really, you're really a smart dude. You're really just advanced. You get bored easily. You really need to be in something challenging.
Yeah.
But you're trying to kick it and have fun and, you know, stay fly and this and that. And they said, you have an opportunity. We're gonna put you out. We're gonna kick you out. I went to Simeon. So if you know, I went to Simeon, South Side. There was a warehouse. Our rival was CVS. So
Well, Simeon, that's where Benji and Derrick Rose went to, right?
Derrick Rose, Benji, Anthony Davis. Yes, this is where and one of my idols was Wes Chamberlain. He was a baseball player, and that's what inspired me to want to play baseball because he was our biggest. He made the majors, and so time went on. They said we have a school that we're going to put you in because you have the grades. We don't want you to get a GED. It's an alternative school, but it's a college prep. That means you have the grades and education to finish, but you'll probably be in college when you're doing it after it's done simultaneously. And that's what happened. And Olive Harvey Middle College saved my life. Miss Hawkins, God bless her soul. She passed last year, saved a lot of our lives. A lot of young, gifted, and black kids who just got caught up in the inner city of Chicago who knew no other thing but to be a product of their environment. And that saved me along with the relationship with my father. And it took the stress off my mother because I had to be a provider for my family at a young age. It was just me and my mom. My mom went through job loss, craziness. So I had to be a provider for my family, and I had to get it by any means necessary. And so that's where I got caught up at in life. And then it re-inspired me to want to say, well, I wanted to go to college. We used to have college tours. I could never go because I still was me. So I still was causing ruckus. But it was inspiration. And I chose Morris Brown because Morris Brown had I wanted to be a lawyer. And Morris Brown had the better law program. Now, Morehouse is a great college, but Morris Brown out of the AUC during that time had the best law program because I didn't have to take pre-law. I could actually major in my actual specialty, which would have been entertainment, which was entertainment law. Mm-hmm. And it was cheaper than Clark. So I weighed all the options because I was paying for college myself. So now we're 22 years later, and I'm in Atlanta.
So when you got down to Mobile, did you study, bro, or was you just were you partying? Did you spend all your time on the wall at Clark? Were you on Fair Street? Like, where were you, man? Were you a studious cat?
No, I was studious for the first month. Yeah, I
Hey,
was.
man, it's hard in the AUC, right?
It was hard during
Bro.
that time, bro, because listen, man, I went on a thought tour. I was a whole thought pocket myself. I went, come on, man, Toya. Look, Toya know me from my AUC days, bro. I stayed at Bumpstead, Beckwith. My cousin went to Clark, my home, but my cousin he went to Clark. I stayed. People thought I went to Clark, bro.
Dog. Myrna Hall, Ware Hall.
Hell yeah.
Hey, come on, man. Hey, James P. Brawley and Fair Street. You know what time it is.
Listen, bro. When I left one, I would go to Spelman before it was time to shut down visitation. And man, the first girl, damn, I want to say her name. The first girl I thought I really was, that's a whole nother story. I don't want to get into that.
All right.
Spelman was an experience. But during that time, man, look, the olive branches, the homecomings, and then here's what the kicker was. I found my way to my hustle. And my hustle was doing parties. So I was the party dude. I had the flyers. I was doing the shuttle buses. So we were doing all the clubs, Studio Central. We were doing the Warehouse. We were doing all these clubs. And when I got caught in that, my classes started dwindling.
For sure.
I got put on academic probation. That's when I know it was real. They was telling me, shit, you need to take up some makeup classes at Atlanta Metro, because my GPS had went down to like a 1.9. I mean, not my GPA. I said GPS. Went down to like a 1.9. Listen, man, it was bad, bro. It was bad.
But for those that didn't weren't fortunate enough to go to school in Atlanta like we were, hey man, over at Atlanta Metro, that was a whole nother thing right there. I mean,
a whole nother thing, bro.
A whole nother thing. Come on now. Could you concentrate over there?
Man, I didn't. I by the grace of God, I picked my grades up. I talked to two of my favorite professors, Dr. Green and Dr. Green. He was my biology teacher, and my English teacher. I forgot his damn name. They helped me, so I was able to do a little side work. I was able to do things. It was a 7:30 a.m. class. I was just leaving the club 2 hours before that. He put me on. He basically told me just test out. He said test out the class and you good. That's what I did. And my English class, he kept me up with the work. He told me when I needed to come to class. And so that's what Morris Brown gave me that experience where professors will know, you ain't really just effing off. You just really, cause bro, I was passing out flyers in the middle class. Like they knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
And when they was like, listen, we got you. That's what I loved about Morris Brown. For real.
Okay. What'd you major in?
I majored in law. Entertainment law was my major. Okay.
So how did you end up in radio?
Crazy thing, man. We lost our accreditation in 2003. Also in 2003, my son was birthed, which is he's now a student of the Jackson State University.
Yes, sir.
And after a series of jobs and career changes, a hell of a path for like 10 years plus. In 2016, I got involved I was helping community service with an organization, and that organization was Simply United. They were located off near Gabi Road in College Park, and they had a little small radio station.
Okay.
And what they did was they actually did a series of podcasts. Dr. James Jones, he was like, so community-wise, he said, man, when you talk and when you have conversations and you inform people, man, people listen. You have a gift that you need to utilize.
Mm-hmm.
And Dr. Jones, when he told me that, I was like, all right, you know what I'm saying? He's like, nah, I want you to be a part of our radio. We're trying to create a community radio station. I said, all right. So there was a guy involved named Ed. He was running it. And I got involved. It was a podcast. He created a podcast. And so I started doing the podcast. Look, Dry Cuba, hey, listen. Somebody that knew me during my AUC days, during my college days, man, still around, man. Sweetheart, man. Beautiful spirit.
What's up, Dry Cuba?
And so when I got involved in radio I started doing the podcast. And I was blind. I didn't know what to do, but I used my, from Chicago, we're going to figure it out. I got a smartphone. I can download the software to my phone and produce my podcast. And in 2016, that's exactly what I did. I started recording live, and I was able to stream live my podcast. And that's when I created the Man Cave Show in 2016. And so those original episodes got deleted because I fell out with somebody who was egotistical. Here's why. I'm not an egotistical person, bro. Listen, God gave me many gifts, many talents. I'm arrogant, I'm cocky based upon what I know I can do. But if I don't know something, I'm not. But I'm still confident enough to know I'm going to figure it out. But when people they see your talent and they see what you possess and they try to nickel and dime you, they try to make it look like, you need to, pay for this or do this. That's where we cross the line. I lied to you not. I've told this story once before and I'm going to tell it again. I told it once. When we have to cut ties for $15,
What? $15?
You was pressing me for $15. And when you did that, I said, in true Chicago fashion, I was like, man, fuck that shit. I can do this shit myself. That's why I understand Kanye. That's a whole nother story. So I figured it out. I paid monthly for the software. I did it myself. I relaunched the Man Cave Show. I lost my episodes. I became the #1 show for that little program and created my own. And I dedicated my first episode to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad because my favorite book of all time is Message to the Black Man. And I did a synopsis and excerpts from the book. And I didn't give a fuck who was listening. I didn't care if it was 5 people listening. I started with about, I lied to you not, about my first episode had 34 people listening. I went from 34 people to 300 people, and it went on. And I got my Kanye on. I was like, I started doing so good. I tell anybody who wants to do radio or podcasting, consistency. I created Man Cave Mondays. I did my next show on Thursdays. After I did that, I remained consistent. I picked my topics. I tried to stay on time. Then from that point, I invested into some equipment. I bought a microphone. I brought an iPad. So I separated, and then I started creating. And when I started creating, I started going to my friends' businesses, establishments, and I would do a live show there. I would have conversations, and I started immediately recording. Then other people wanted to create podcasts when they saw what I was doing.
Yeah.
And my good friend Derek Ford that's on here, Derek is a socialite, and Derek had the plug. We both into fragrance and fashion as black men.
What up, Derek?
But he schooled me onto, I love to smell good. I love to dress nice.
Hold on, Shawn. See, this why I'm so glad I invited you on, dog. I did not know that you were into fragrances like that. I am too.
Oh yeah, big time.
What's name 2 of your favorite fragrances, man?
My favorite is Baccarat Rouge and oh shit, I got it's Bond number 9. It's one of my signature fragrances.
Okay, okay. But
It's
Bond.
Bond number 9.
Yeah.
Greenwich Village.
Yeah.
So Derek's here. So let me tell you, man, Derek, right? Derek had a conversation with me about fragrances that blew my mind.
Okay.
This is where history comes in. They used to go to FragCon. Guess who used to be there all the time?
Who?
Who's the most hated black man in the world?
Kanye.
Now.
Oh, the most hated black man in the world?
Before he passed away, who was the most hated black man not too long ago?
Oh, the boy Herman Cain.
Nah.
Before it's a whole lot of hated black men, man. I don't know.
Think about it.
The most hated black man in the... Oh,
you know
man.
who it is?
Does anybody in the audience, if y'all know who it is, type it in. I can't figure it out. Kevin Samuels. Yeah.
We
for
knew
sure.
that's when he was taught. Kevin Samuels was a stylist. He would this and that. And so when people used to talk about Kevin's character, I was like, that's interesting. That's a whole other story. So Derek broke it down to me one day. He's like, man, he wants to talk about. I said, he wants to talk about fragrance and fashion. I said, bro, fuck it. Let's create a show dedicated to fragrance and fashion where we interview the influencers in the community, because people don't understand there's a community for people in the fragrance community that are huge. We created Scent Gents Radio. Scent Gents Radio, we interviewed some of the top fragrance reviewers ever. And when we broke down our favorite fragrances, we understood the difference between niche. We understood the difference between retail, whatever, when it came to fragrances. And we really made people understand the passion behind smelling good. It's not just buying a fragrance. It's body chemistry.
Yes.
It's seasonal fragrances.
Yes.
So a lot of men go wrong and put heavy winter and fall fragrances on in the summertime.
In the spring, in the summer,
Wonder why you smell like goddamn panther piss, because it's the wrong time of the season. You remember the movie Anchorman, and he had
Sex Panther.
Sex Panther.
Yeah,
so
no doubt.
You had to. So we decided to teach people the right way. Women were listening. Women were one of our biggest listeners involved, and so we taught people, and people were like, "Damn!" And so the other part is, shout out to my homeboy Sean Crenshaw, who created Ovation for Men. We talked about the creators of fragrances, how people actually go and pick the essential oils and the process to make fragrances. People didn't know this. That is not just putting sandalwood and whatever together and boom. No, it's a process.
Right.
And people found it out. And so we broke down notes and keynotes and this and that, and some of your favorite fragrances. For those people who like Baccarat Rouge, Baccarat, the secret to that is the essential keynote is almond. And when you smell it in the wind, you smell the almond. Now, the extract version, which is the red bottle, has more almond in it than it does the regular version. And that's what you're paying $100 for, in the difference in price. So this is what we did. We help people understand. We went to old school fragrance, Platinum Chanel, Issey Miyake, Herb,
who just died the other day.
See, these are classic fragrances. Derek's favorite he's a big Terry Mugler fan.
Angel.
One of them.
Or the alien, or the green one.
He loved the alien.
Alien, yeah, no doubt.
We talked about these fragrances, and then we created that. And then once I started doing that, other friends. So then I became a podcast producer. So I had a homegirl who was really big into politics. She was big in DC, big in Africa. I said, you got a fan base. You got people that listen to you. Boom, let's create a show. A girl I was really, really tight with, at the time, really good friend, created a show with her and two of her friends. When people realized it wasn't easy, and when I had to teach them, they started a whole podcast in New York. And I told them what to do. I told them what equipment to use. So she was in Atlanta, they was in New York. They created a whole show. And so this is where I birthed my creative juices. So this is where I became a podcast producer, because I tell people it's not as easy as it looks. I started with my phone. It wasn't complicated, but it's a process. And I learned through trial and error. So when I tell people are like, I got something to talk about. Listen, man, I will go days creating content. Like me and you talk, and I'll be like, damn, we need to talk about house music. That's the topic of a show. It's really simple to regular conversations that you want to put on and just have bigger conversations about. Because everybody thinks differently, everybody sees things differently. And I remember one of my favorite episodes was Kanye West versus the People. And when Kanye made that comment about slavery was a choice, I totally agree with it. See, and that's another thing about it too, is that I'm not the typical go along, that makes sense. Yeah. No, I'm like, nah, I agree with nigga. I see Trump differently than most people. Not saying I'm a huge supporter, but I see things differently, and that's what I bring to the table.
So that's an excellent segue into my next question.
Mm-hmm.
For those that, first of all, if you're just there in the room, it seemed like your whole crew is in the room. But if you're in the room and you don't know who we're with, you rolling with Shawn Ward, radio personality, host of the Man Cave Show, Red Cup Conversations on HOTT923. Shawn, for those that haven't listened to your show, man,
mm-hmm.
Tell us in a couple of sentences, what is your show about? Who is it for? And what can they expect?
My show is for a demographic. It's for the grown demographic. I don't put an age on it, but if I was to put an age on it, if we were being technical, I would say 25 and older. And the reason why is that transition age of, we talk about politics, relationships, world topics, community topics, and shit that's just really going on that needs to be discussed. And I talk about the elephant in the room, things that people are scared to talk about. People really say, like, people have consistently told me, you say the things that people are scared to say. And I'm not here to be a shock jock. I just say how I feel. I'm from Chicago. I say how the fuck I feel. This is where it comes hard in dating, because I can't compromise feelings. Like, if you ask me how this look, and I'd be like, it look like a hot ass mess, and you try to figure out why. Baby, you asked me. I'm not here to patronize you. I'm not passive aggressive. I'm straightforward. This is me. And so this is how I'm the same person I am in real life, behind the mic, you know. And the show, we talk about these things. My great co-host, B Smooth, he brings sports, movie reviews, TV shows, entertainment, and he's a foodie reviewer. I thought that would be different, because one thing black folks gonna do is we gonna eat good.
We sure are.
We gonna eat good.
We gonna eat good.
And why not get away from the typical big chains and learn about mom and pop spots and different things? And we break down some of this and that. And so, and I bring all that into, into the now Red Cup Conversation, which I started, used to be Three's Company. It was a morning show. We used to come on after Cheryl Underwood. When I first started in radio, we were right after Cheryl Underwood in the mornings.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Dude,
yeah.
I love that. And having experienced your show live and direct up close, man, dude, you had me laughing. You had me laughing the whole time on the show and in person. But and so if you're not listening to the Man Cave Show, follow him and listen to that too, man. But the other thing I really like about you, man, is that you care about the community. And you started a nonprofit. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. About 7 years ago, during the midst of everything else, me and a group of friends, um, me, Kim Jackson, who is the CEO of it now, and my homeboy Antonio, and a few other friends. We came together after the Philando, I forgot,
Castile.
Castillo was murdered in Minnesota. We came together as a community because we were just fed up. So we was like, we wanted to be different from the typical protest where we was like, we want to do the hell no, we won't go, or the picket signs, or we shall overcome on this little light of mine. We were like, no, we need to start doing something effective in our community. So I said, listen, protesting, like not shopping at Target, not shopping at Walmart, you can do that only for so long.
Right.
What we have to do is be able to provide and fuel our soldiers around us. Which means we need to create more. We need to create a Black economic system. We need to supply and strengthen our communities, meaning that our impoverished communities are people who are struggling that look just like us. It ain't the people who are out here in the projects or in fucked up communities. It's people who go to work every day that are in jacked up situations, who need help, and that were prideful.
The working
And
poor.
exactly. And so
Yeah.
what we did was we went into the community and we gave out gently used items. We gave out toiletries, things that people needed. And we created an organization called Doing Good in the Hood, which has now transcended to South Florida. And it's going multi-state now. And it is impactful in the community because there was a need for it in the South Florida area. Kim Jackson, and you can follow Doing Good in the Hood on Instagram, DGITH, for Doing Good in the Hood. When she relocated to Florida, she saw the need for it and expanded and it took off. And we found a need, and it's been 7 years strong, and it's still growing because it's a need in our community to be our brothers and sisters keeper.
I love it, bro. I love it.
Appreciate
And if you don't know also about Shawn is also involved locally with back to school drives, giving
Yeah,
kids
yeah,
stuff and that they need. And man, if we're gonna have any change in the community, it's got to come from us. You
yep,
know what I'm saying? It's got to come from us.
yep.
But that's not your only thing. You also coach professional women's basketball too. Is that right?
I do. Yeah, I coach for professional men's and women's basketball.
Okay.
Real quick, a lot of people don't know the demographics. As a retired athlete, as someone who was always wondered where the opportunity could come from. When God put me in a position to coach about 10 years ago, and I'll never forget my biggest mistake was I was trying to be the cool coach because see, I was younger. I was 31. I'm 42 now. So, and I'm coaching guys that are 25, 23, 28, and so it's like I'm coaching your peers. So I thought it was cool to be the cool coach, and and I learned that failed quick. Although we was winning and although we was this and that, it's a matter of earning and having respect from your peers in that position. So basketball demographics, it's not just the NBA. The NBA is not the only professional thing out there. There are other entities of basketball, international and stateside, which I've had an opportunity to be a part of, that give great opportunities for guys who don't make it to the NBA and want an opportunity for a professional career. A lot of guys like Stephon Marbury, a lot of guys who have been able to created a professional career. Even Allen Iverson played in China. These different leagues, there are opportunities for athlete basketball players, men and women. I started out with men. I started coaching women the last 2.5 years. And we are part of the Summer League, which is the AEBL, the Atlanta Entertainment Basketball League, which is nothing but the best talent in the city, in the state, and NBA current, WNBA current, and retired players that play together. And I have an opportunity to coach women. We won the Georgia Lady Fire. Shout out to Paul and he started a great team called the Georgia Lady Fire. He needed me and asked me to coach them to take them to another level, and we won championships, tournaments. We are defending champions as we go into playoff weekend this weekend. We are trying to defend our championship to go back to back. And yeah, so yes, I wear these hats. Yes, I be tired. No, I don't have time for a lot of shit. But you only live once.
Shawn, for those that are not aware, tell them how they can tune into your show and what time and day it comes on.
Oh yes, each and every Saturday and Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. And now in September we're going to be going from 4 to 7 p.m. On Orlando's #1 urban adult contemporary R&B station, exclusively on Iheart Radio. It's HOTT923'S. That's hot with 2 T's. Follow the Instagram page. Follow, save it as your favorite on Iheart Radio. The Iheart Radio app is totally free. You can stream the website, the station on our website. That's www.HOTT923.com. And August 27th, we are doing a grand open to an addition. There's Cluster Media Live. Which is Cluster Media Live, which is now you have a live studio. We're going to be doing tiny desk concerts. So much, man. I don't want to give all away, but you have an opportunity to see what the station looked like and what's going on, And don't forget tomorrow, man, Friday night, man, I'm at Spice House hosting a great event with Amadi and the Anonymous Band. Great talent in the building, man. So you get to see me live and see how I interact and have a great time. So I'm sorry, I know this wasn't plug time, but I was on my mind.
No, this is plug time. It's always plug time. You know what I'm saying? So listen, if y'all in the A tomorrow, me and Shawn gonna be in the building, Spice House, Cascade.
2 light-skinned people in the building at the same time.
You know what I'm saying? Light-skinned brothers coming back. We've successfully made a comeback. We're gonna be Spice House, Cascade tomorrow with award-winning jazz band, Anonymous the Band, some young boys, played at Paisley Park, played at Atlanta Jazz Festival. They bad. They're going to be there with my musical artist, Amadi. Check him out at Amadi FMZ, AHMADY FMZ. Shawn is hosting, so you know it's going to be a vibe, of course. And if y'all pull up, you know what I'm saying, come have a drink with me and Shawn, because we're going to have a drink in hand. In hand.
Yeah.
One of the things I like, Shawn, is that you tell it straight. So I got to ask, as we wrap up, can we still play R. Kelly's music or not?
Let me tell you this, man. If folks still went to the Playboy Mansion and played the songs Blue Suede Shoes or anything by Elvis, you goddamn right we're going to play R. Kelly. We're going to play R. Kelly. We're going to step into the name of love till we can't step no more. And it's crazy. It's crazy you ask this. The #1 song on TikTok is Legs Shaking by R. Kelly.
Get out.
Yeah. It's the #1 trending TikTok. That's crazy as shit. And it's all women mostly doing it. And I see some guys doing it too, though. Listen, man, R. Kelly is, I can break down the variables in that situation and help people understand what we don't understand as a community, right, is that hurt people hurt people. Men who are sexually abused and tortured, etc., don't get the help. A lot of women, too, as well. That man was sexually abused, and he was only doing what the fuck he thought was right. Straight up. And so because of that, because he never got the help that he needed, he became a monster. He was only doing what he thought was normal. Let me help you understand what I mean by that. He married Aaliyah. He fell in love with Aaliyah. Aaliyah was pregnant. They were loving each other. And he was 25, 26 years old. They thought that shit was normal. Because whoever took his innocence away, which was his sister, was one of the persons. R. Kelly was doing what he thought was right. So does it really make sense to lock somebody up like that, or give them the help that they need? Here's what's crazy: part of his sentencing, outside of the years that he got, is the psychiatric help for the things that he went through and the abuse that he went to. Damn.
Do you what happened to Crucial Conflict?
Crucial Conflict's manager died, which was also had an association with Boyz II Men. When he got murdered, Crucial Conflict wasn't the same. He was kind of the nucleus for their career. They had a couple of songs afterwards, but they went down after that. You know, Do or Die signed to Rap a Lot. You know, and that kind of boosted their career back up. Twista has the longest rap career ever in Chicago. Common is next. Been doing it forever, and you know, yeah, I can name shit. We can talk about Chicago music all day.
Yeah. Yeezy,
greatest.
Common
was one of the most unique rappers at his time. He set the tone to me for single rap artists to be whoever they are.
Frankie Knuckles.
Really?
Yeah.
What you want to rate Frankie Knuckles as?
No, I just want you to just speak on it. Speak on Frankie Knuckles.
Ain't too much I can say about Frankie Knuckles.
Well, for people that's not from Chicago, there's a whole lot you could say, because a lot of people not from Chicago on here.
I don't even know where to start.
Okay.
Honestly, I really don't know.
All right, so Shawn, for those that have no idea who Frankie Knuckles is, give us a sentence or two.
One of the realest ever. Damn, you got me on that one.
Okay.
I mean,
okay.
Like, do people know who Frankie Knuckles is?
That's what I'm saying. I'm assuming that people outside of Chicago don't know who he is. That's what I'm saying.
Who do you know Frankie Knuckles as?
I know Frankie Knuckles as one of the creators of house music. Is that a fact or is that not a fact?
That's a major fact. But again, remember I told you from the beginning how house music was divided in Chicago?
Well, all right, break it down, bro. Break it down.
So Frankie created a sound. There are other DJs that also created so for example, like DJ Screw created screw music, right?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
But Texas rap music has always been around because you had Ghetto Boys. So that sound was there. So Frankie Knuckles would be like the Ghetto Boys of house music in Chicago.
Got it.
Remember I told all these. So you got DJ Sluggo, you got DJ. There's so many names, but that, and this music goes back to actual cassette tapes, where you bought these mixtapes, and these guys were creating that sound. But Frankie Knuckles, man, you would hear that sound when you go to clubs in Chicago, like the Wild Hair, which was featured on the movie Love Jones.
Love Jones, yeah, boy.
Yeah, that was really like, and so that was a little older for me too as well, because that era of Chicago, I wasn't able to go to the club at that point in time unless I snuck in. But that sound was tremendously like pivotal in Chicago music, 100%. But like I said, one of the greatest to do it.
Boy, when you said Wild Hair, Love Jones, one of my favorite movies. That was our time, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I'm hearing the music that Darius
Yeah,
Love Hall and Nina Mosley were dancing to in the Wild Hair. You know what I'm
man. Listen,
saying?
that depiction in that movie of the Wild Hair of a night at the Wild Hair was accurate. That vibe
Woo.
energy was accurate, bro. Because listen, you can go in a Chicago club and they can throw on some James Brown,
Yeah.
and you got folks in there stepping, and then you got you throw on some house music, then you throw on some hip hop, and listen, I'm gonna tell you, I'm about to really mess your head up with this one.
Hey, Shawn, there's a question for you. I just want to interject.
Okay,
CJ Thomas wants to know, so is house music not big anymore in Chicago?
it's still big. Yeah, it's the association that's changed. So house music is considered, has been so much associated with gay culture. Nothing wrong with it, right? But they feel like that's gay music. Bro, it's music. Like, but see, that's the different type of house music. Then you got techno. And then you got, like, if you in Atlanta, if you ever been to House in the Park, that is Chicago house music in the clubs.
Okay.
You get a little, that's the best way to really, DJ Cowboy, who just recently passed, God bless his soul. Another one who was pivotal in bringing that sound across the city of Chicago. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Big Luther or Little Luther?
Big Luther.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Big Luther. You stupid.
Oh. Well, look, man. Listen, dude. I'm so glad, man, that you came out, man, and wowed us tonight. If you're not following this brother, follow at Shy Fella at CHI_Fella FELLA. And tell them your shows, man. Your show and how to spell that.
Red Cup Conversations, and of course the Man Cave Show. You can follow both of those pages to keep informed, and on all that I do, I try to keep people posted and informed. One of the pages I'm just going to have to combine together and just take it down to 2 pages. But yeah, that's me. Mm-hmm.
Did you one more thing? Did you watch that TV show Southside that I told you about, the comedy?
No, I've been so engulfed into the Shy.
Yeah.
The Shy, which it takes place near where I grew up at. So I've been so engulfed in that, man. But it's when I get a chance to sit down like next month, it's added to my list.
Okay. Pull up tomorrow. Spice House Cascade, hosted by the one and only Shawn Ward. Hey, man, thank you for coming out, bro. Everybody, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see y'all next go round.
Thank you so much, man. Hey, Taj, I appreciate this, man. Appreciate the opportunity, man. And look, y'all stay tuned every week when he does his show. It's the best thing smoking on Instagram, man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Honestly,
I didn't even have to pay him to say that either, y'all. So, all right, my dog. You have a blessed night, man. Everybody have a blessed night. See y'all next week.